Yo, what's going on? It's PRW. See, yesterday I made a video about how the current heel system sucks, and I want to thank everybody. 500 fucking views on that shit already, and it hasn't even been up for a whole day yet. So I really appreciate it. Thanks again to Lisa Green for all the ideas that she's been coming up. Just like the Smarks say, she's coming up with the bangers. You'll see more of her bangers later on. But we're going to be talking about the legendary heels of history and why they matter. Real quick, I want to go down the list. I have so many names here from the past, and I'm sure I've missed plenty, but we're going to give our condolences to some of these people. They have died, but we're going to go over some of these heels. Start the list. We got Ric Flair, the Iron Sheik, Sergeant Slaughter, Roddy Piper, one of my favorites of all time, Jake Roberts, Triple H, The Rock, Undertaker, Kane, Bray Wyatt, rest in peace, Hollywood Hogan, Brian Pillman, Bang Bang, New Jack. That guy was so fucking crazy. I've seen so much of his shit. He's a real life crazy motherfucker. Edge, Randy Orton, Rick Rude, Jesse the Body Ventura, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Shawn Michaels, Vince McMahon. Yeah, pal. JBL, Brock Lesnar, Ken Shamrock, my all-time favorite, Big Boss Man, Vader, Psycho Sid, Kevin Nash, Razor Ramon, Andre the Giant, The Miz, Bam Bam Bigelow, Shane McMahon, and Chyna. So, I went down that list. We named some very legendary wrestlers there. What made these people great heels? Well, I have 10 fucking reasons for you, so we're going to go over it. Number one, they got the intended reaction from the crowd. Like how I mentioned last video, how half these heels are not getting booed. These people on this list, when they were heels at some point in their career, would get booed out of the fucking building. Especially Roddy Piper and Rick Rude. Those two motherfuckers got their ass booed out of the building consistently. Even Vince McMahon, too. Everyone on this list got booed. And as a heel, that should be your goal, is to get booed by the crowd. Because what that means is that you are over. If you're making the crowd boo you for a good reason, you're over, and that means you're a top star. So that was reason number two. Or number one. Number two, they made their babyface counterparts look good. Look at some of the great feuds of history. Vince McMahon versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, arguably the greatest rivalry of all time. If Stone Cold didn't have Vince, and Vince didn't have Stone Cold, nobody would fucking remember that feud. Because if it was just somebody else on the roster at that time, like Val Venus, I like Val Venus, very talented guy, but he's no Vince McMahon or Stone Cold Steve Austin. You need to have great heels and great baby faces feud, and you just don't have that now. I mean, Hulk Hogan versus Macho Man Randy Savage. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. I mean, come on, man. They also had some great moments. Hulk Hogan joining the NWO. That shit is still legendary. The Rock joining the Corporation. Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness. This is stuff that people remember. Stone Cold Steve Austin joining Vince. Nobody ever thought that would fucking happen. But they had these great moments that people still talk about to this day. The third and fourth reasons are kind of the same. So 3 was they were draws, and 4 sold out arenas and pay-per-views. In the Attitude Era, most of the shows, Raw and any of their pay-per-views, were sold out weeks to months in advance. And that's because of these great heels and baby faces at the time. Because you had these people, all of them were fucking talented as shit. You had people tuning in to see what Triple H and Shawn Michaels were going to do in DX with Chyna. You had people tuning in to see who the hell The Rock was going to flame that week. You had people tuning in to see where Stone Cold Steve Austin was going to do to Vince McMahon. You had these compelling storylines that people wanted to see. Whether it was to see the heel get their ass kicked, or to see a compelling promo, or even for the match marks. These eras had it golden. And even in the golden era, you had people like Jake the Snake, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Jim Cornette, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Andre the Giant. You had all these big, larger-than-life superstars that you could get behind and or hate. There's a reason Roddy Piper was one of the biggest heels in the Golden Era. Same thing with Rick Rude. These people got people to hate them. And until that made people want to root for the babyface and want to see their downfall. So people would tune in, whether it was on TV or they would buy tickets to come to the show. You're not getting that now. People say we're in a boom era. Why are shows not sold out literally minutes in advance or weeks in advance? You're not seeing that now. The Raw on Netflix debut is still not sold out. Plus, they've tarped off a bunch of crowd spots in the stadium. If we were in a boom period, there would be no need for that, and that's a problem. 5 and 6 are pretty much the same. 5 was people really hated them legitimately, and 6 is controversy creates cash. Now, for people to hate these heels, they did crazy, wacky, off-the-wall type shit. Remember Brian Pillman's gun segment? That was a ratings draw. That was a success. Remember when all the crazy shit Vince would do, or Stone Cold would do to Vince? And even recently, remember Randy Orton and Triple H's feud? Or Randy Orton RKO'd Stephanie and then proceeded to kiss her the same fucking time? That stuff made people care because it's off-the-wall controversy. Now, in the climate we have now, I mentioned this in the other video yesterday, is that because of the evolution of advertisers and them wanting to move towards a kid-friendly approach, and with the internet being pussified, you can't make these compelling characters anymore because you can't do anything that's controversy or controversial. If you do, you're at the risk of getting canceled, and then they start attacking the real-life person for something that was given to them in booking. Nobody gave a shit about any of this stuff in the 80s and 90s because people just wanted to see great TV. I don't understand how now nobody wants to see great TV. In order for a heel to be compelling to you, they need to have a legitimate motive. Nothing like Wyatt Six, nothing like what Karrion Kross and that Final Testament are doing. Even though I like Kross, his fucking motives are dumb and stupid. At least, like, let's go down the line for heels, right? Vince McMahon wanted to fire Stone Cold Steve Austin because he didn't like him. I'm looking at the list. Brian Pillman wanted to kill Stone Cold Steve Austin. Roddy Piper was just a fucking scumbag half the time. All these fucking heels had motives. And they weren't justifiable either. Like Brian Pillman trying to kill Stone Cold. Nobody was saying that was the right move, but you wanted to watch because it was like, what's Brian Pillman going to do this week? And then Vince. Was he justified to want to, fire Stone Cold? I mean, in a way, I guess you could. You could justify it, but nobody was. Everybody wanted to see Vince's downfall. Everyone wanted to see how Stone Cold would overcome the corporation. So, you don't have these things anymore. The seventh reason, heels, they used to look like superstars, man. You don't have, the heels you have on the roster right now, like CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Dominic Mysterio, these guys don't look like fucking superstars, man. They look like people that be working at Walmart or at GameStop, or they would be taking your order at McDonald's. They don't look like wrestlers. At least I can respect everyone on that list because they look like people that could beat the shit out of you, especially Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock is a legit MMA legend up there with Don Fry. It could kick anybody's fucking ass on this current roster. In his prime, same thing with Brock Lesnar. Same thing with New Jack. These people were legit tough guys, and they could beat the living shit out of you if you stepped out of line. At least they looked like ass kickers. All I ask for the current roster is, even if you're not the biggest guy or girl, at least look like you can kick somebody's fucking ass. Look intimidating. Bring that intensity. If I was in this, I would show them old clips of fucking Rick Rude's intensity, Ken Shamrock, and Brock Lesnar. Those are the type of people you want to be if you're a heel. You want to be intense, and you want to be scary. You want to freak people the fuck out. 8. They were always great promos, and they all had fucking charisma. Vince McMahon is one of the greatest promos of all time. Jim Cornette, same deal. Rick Rude, same deal. Roddy Piper, same fucking deal. You see what I'm talking about? everyone here took their promos extremely seriously because back in the day, people actually gave a fuck about their characters and wanted people to actually either root for them or boo the fuck out of them. You had old school stories back in the day where the boys would go in the back and try to see who got booed the most. That's real life competition right there. You don't have that. You don't have anybody in the back saying, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna go out now. Let's see who gets booed the most." Half the time, these marks hate being booed because they take it as a bad thing. Now, if you're a dog shit wrestler and you're getting booed, that's go away heat. If you're legitimately talented and you can get over, people booing is not a bad thing. That means you're doing your job right. And everyone on this list got booed, whether they were heels or faces at one point. They all did their job very well. And I respect everyone on that fucking list. I don't care what their personal lives were like, because that's none of my business. I care about who the character was they put on TV. And those characters that they put on TV were compelling and made you want to watch every week, whether you like them or not. And that's a fact. I guess number 9 is the same thing, compelling characters. Everyone on this list had a character. Vince McMahon was the evil boss. Brock Lesnar's a legit ass kicker. He was not Olympic athlete. He was great. Hulk Hogan, the All-American hero. Iron Sheik, sympathizer for Russia. I mean, come on, man. Sergeant Slaughter, heel sergeant in the military. These are all characters that you could have that could be greatly be put on the mainstream now, and people could get behind them. I would, at least everyone on that list took the time to come up with a character, and at least they cared about what they put on the TV screen. You're not getting that now. Even Jake the Snake Roberts could have been greatly. Everyone on this list would be greatly underutilized on the current plan because they don't align with this era. Well, this era is full of pussification, and that's a problem because without controversy, heels cannot thrive because heels are supposed to do evil stuff, right? You're supposed to hate them. But with this era, you can't allow your heels to actually do crazy shit. It's ridiculous. And yeah, they're too hardcore for the era. They did all, like, Brian Pillman's gun segment, the stuff that was happening every day on WWF Raw. Even mid-2000s Randy Orton and Edge were too much for current era. This is ridiculous. Nobody cared about this stuff offending them back in the day. They were just happy to have great TV. And you don't have that now because everyone's pussified and the Twitter audience has allowed their bullshit opinions to manifest in wrestling. And it's tiring. I'm so fucking tired of it. So yeah, that was pretty much the video. Thanks again to every heel that I just listed. And every great heel that's ever existed in WWE history, I am thankful for you. Because my dream was to be a wrestler at one point, and I've studied so much of this tape from everyone that I know how to be a heel. So thank you to everyone here for inspiring people and for just making great fucking TV. Thank you. Because I wish we had this, but instead we have this pussified Triple H era that I'm not afraid to speak out on because I do not give a fuck what Triple H has to say about me or any of these fans. Keep your shit up. I do not care. I make my content my way. You don't like it? Go away. So that was PRW, talking about the heels of the past, the greatest eras of WWE history and just the industry in general. Peace the fuck out.